Hi, class. So for this lecture, we are going to look at the reciprocal relationship between development and learning. And when we understand how those two work together, that just helps us optimize our pedagogies and instructional strategies and just overall helps create an environment that's more conducive to holistic growth and learning. All right. So when it comes to theoretical perspectives on development and learning, we have the behaviorist perspective and the cognitive perspective. So on behaviorists, those would be the psychologists like Pavlov and Edward Thorndike. And then, of course, the most famous is Skinner, those guys who came up with classical and operant conditioning. And so they basically see that learning is it's stimulus based, right? So it's a result of environmental stimulus and some kind of response from us or from the participant, right? We'll say from the learner. And so basically behaviorists look like development as accumulation of learned behaviors. And, we learn those through reinforcement and punishment. And so basically learning is conditioned. That's the way the behaviorists believe about all behavior, right? We're all conditioned to behave the way they do. And it's very so by knowing that it's really, practical implications for us as educator. And it just wants to emphasize the importance of carefully designing reinforcements and providing immediate feedback to enhance learning. So with the behaviorist perspective on learning, we're tailoring classrooms to set up those conditioned responses that we want. And, a lot of that is also going to come from our behavior, the way that we behave and respond in our classroom. That's going to set an example, would be a type of modeling, right? And then we have the cognitive perspective with Vygotsky, Piaget being the most famous psychologist. And basically, with cognitive theory, we're looking at those internal mental processes, what's going on inside that allows us to learn. And so, with the cognitive perspective, we think that development and learning are intertwined, with cognitive development playing a crucial role in how individuals acquire and construct knowledge. And so, as we know from this week's readings, it's kind of a scaffold thing, like Piaget said. And then, we have this zone of proximal development. And so, we're once again seeing that mind body connection with the cognitive perspective, because, what's going to go on internally is going to affect the outside influence, and then, vice versa. So, really, when it comes to tailoring our classrooms for, that holistic growth, optimal learning, we want to do a combination of behaviorist and cognitive perspectives. All right. And so, when we look at development and learning, once again, that cognitive development is really important, because as we grow and progress throughout life, we go through different stages, right? And so, the person you are when you are 4 years old is not going to be the person you are when you are 40 years old, because, hopefully have learned in your life, and, you know what works, what doesn't work, and, you've experienced life. So we all go through these developmental stages. And then with Piaget, he focused on those cognitive stages, and he had 4 stages: sensory-motor, preoccupational, concrete operational, and formal operational. And so, each of these stages represents a unique set of cognitive abilities and understanding of the world. And so Piaget argued that we learn through the process of assimilating new information into those existing schemas. Remember, because along with scaffolding, he had the idea of schemas that, we learn. Like, for example, you're a little kid, the first time you meet a dog, you learn what a dog is. So you get this little box in your mind of a dog. A dog, it has four legs, it has, a wet nose, maybe, it's got these floppy ears and a tail, and it goes roof, roof, right? And so then you move on and you see a cat, and, the child, the 2-year-old you goes, oh, it's a dog because the schema is very close, right? You've got the fluffy, the forepaws, the nose, tails, the ears, and so then we learned it's like no, that's a new box, that's a new schema, that is a cat, and so on, and with goat and horse and everything else that we learn in life, right? And so and basically it's modify it's we accommodate and modify those schemas, and so the more we learn, like the more of those little boxes develop in our head, like not real boxes, but just the mental space, I guess, is a good way to say that too. And so basically with Piaget, um it's important for us as educators to consider where our students are at developmentally, so that we're making sure that we are, designing those instructional activities that are going to facilitate optimal learning outcomes. And then we have Vygotsky and his social learning theory. And so basically, he thought that learning occurred within a social and cultural. I don't know what you're messing with, but son, you're lay down. All the puppy dogs come lay down and take a nap. Good puppy dog. Okay, sorry, I had to pause for a second. My one of the puppies, well, we have four dogs, but only one's a puppy. It was getting into stuff, of course. And so, and then our bird, our Australian long-billed corolla, is sitting on top of the mantle, like throwing all my stuff off of it. And so the puppy's trying to eat all that too. Fun times on the farm. And so with Vygotsky and the sociocultural learning theory, he basically is saying that learning takes place within our social and cultural context. Okay. And so there's a collaborative nature to learning because being human beings, being social animals, being animals with culture, we learn together. Hang on, guys. Will you stop? Don't shut, please. Stop. This is like the fifth time I've tried to record this lecture, guys, with the chaos going on. No, 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 no. But I've got to keep going, or I'm never going to get this done. This is why. Oh, goodness. And so, with Vygotsky, we also have the idea of the zone of proximal development, and it refers to that. It's basically that gap between what individuals can accomplish alone and what we can agree and what we can achieve with guidance and support from, more knowledgeable individuals. And so he's really emphasizing that role of social interaction. Oh my God. Oh, that's that's no. This is enough. No, you're coming down. No, you're not just short. No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. No. We're not. Stay out of it. That way. No, you stop. No. No. That's land. No, go lay down. That's wrong. No, go lay down. All right, guys, like I said, we got some chaos. These animals are going wild. So, oh, bring it. All right. So, we said that that zone of proximal development is that gap where individuals can accomplish something alone, and then what they can achieve with guidance for more knowledgeable people. Do not jump back up on the handle, please. And so, basically, Vygotsky's theory is emphasizing the role of social interaction and scaffolding and promoting learning and development. And so, as educators, that allow the, understanding this helps us optimize learning by providing those appropriate levels of support, and, that challengers our students, and at the same time, ensuring their success. Right. So when we look at the impact of learning on development, we have self-regulated learning and socio-emotional development. And so regulated learning refers to our ability to control, monitor, and regulate one's learning processes. And self-regulated learning, it plays a significant role in development because it enhances those metacognitive skills, motivation, and self-efficacy. And when our students have effective self-regulation strategies, they're likely going to be more successful academically. And so as educators, we help foster those self-regulation regulation skills and self-regulated learning by we can teach our students, strategies for goal setting, self-evaluation, and things like self-monitoring. And so when it comes to socio-emotional development, basically learning experience, they influence us. Once again, the mind-body connection, and it's more than the mind-body connection, right, guys? Let's try it, because we have the mind, we have the body, and we have our emotions, and all three of those things, work together to kind of make us who we are. And so, the more we create that positive and supportive learning environment, the more we're going to help our students develop stronger social skills, emotional intelligence, and a self-esteem, right? And so that's going to help them be those positive and productive agents of social change. But on the same time of that, we have to be careful, because the negative experience can also play a role. And so, peer rejection, harsh feedback, that's going to hinder social and emotional development. At the same time, though, we have to realize that our negative experiences in life are a way for us to learn and grow too. And so, once again, we always have to that positive precedence in our classrooms, and realize that when other people are being negative, that it more than likely has nothing to do with us. As human beings, we do like to take our negativity out on other people. And, sometimes it's accidental, sometimes it's because of low emotional intelligence. And, the best case is just respond. If you do not respond to negativity, then you'll move on to something else, right? Stevie? Oh, I just said we're not doing this. Get down. Get down. Oh, now you just fell. All right. So I had to go move the bird. I finally just moved him where he can't get on the mantle. Hopefully he won't fly over there. Stevie. All right, guys. And so we looked at how development and learning interplay with each other. And, by looking at these theoretical perspectives, we gain more insight into how development and learning continuously influence each other. And, this empowers us to create those enriched learning environments and make sure that we are developing and tailoring our instructional strategies so that we are promoting the most holistic growth and optimal learning that we can from our students. And remember that all starts with our attitudes and the tones that we set in our classrooms. So, all right, guys, that wraps up our arduous animal adventure field lecture for this week. Here is my reference page / slide for the references. My citations. Remember, guys, you always want to at least have one citation per paragraph, or if you do a PowerPoint slide, and you always want to have references for citations for every references and vice versa. So keep up the great work, guys. If you need anything, reach out to me. Thanks. Bye.